also from village, from Nyeri, and we couldn't go for those, like now, this is how now it has evolved. Nowadays, they are taken to chips and hamburger and everything. Yeah, we could walk to Bomas of Kenya, from Nangata women, to Bomas of Kenya, it's just a walk. It's just
from nowhere, he loved me, and I felt appreciated. Then I came, I found a mother-in-law who loves me. And I love her.
Wow.
So I've been evolving in love. I found my sister-in-laws. I had an advantage of staying with my sister-in-law, and she had daughters who are older than my daughter. So my daughter, most of the things about the menses and what have you, she was with my nieces. And it was an added advantage because them, they were grown and now they could show the small girl. And we were so close, even up to date, even now the girls are so close. So she also came and told me that her menses have started, so that we can buy for her the pads and what have you. And even talking, you know, when she has bigger cousins, girls, she could see what they are doing and how they are behaving. And mostly even when we are talking, you just tell her, you see the way they are doing, the way they are going, and what have you. So I think even most of the adolescents, she just observed and was taught by them, but not me entirely.
But
so I just wanted to say that with me, I was never taught by my mother. In fact, it's our house girl that I told her, you know, now I've started my menses. Then she was telling me, now don't joke with men. Don't joke with boys. I'm like, oh, okay, what's happening? But she would tell me that, and she's the one who went and told my mother, because me, I couldn't tell my mother.
No.
And it's not that I feared, but I don't know, ni utoto tu. I didn't tell her. I just knew atajua tu nimeanza. So I was thinking about this thing because when before I got married, my mother knew one day I'll get married, but she doesn't know when. But that courage of talking to your daughter, or like me talking to my daughter now, telling her, you know, when you get a husband, you need to treat him like this. You need to show him this. You need to what now I'm doing, I need to tell my daughter. But that one, it doesn't happen. And I fear it won't happen because I know my daughter will get married. But the fear of telling her about a man, it's like I'm telling her to just go and get married. You know, the fear of telling her to just go and get married. But I think that's a lesson that we need to tell our daughters, that when you get married, you need to do this to your man. You need to hold him like, you need to embrace him like this. You show her what she's supposed to do, as I'm doing. But the fear, I don't know if it's a taboo or what. I don't know. But we can't do it. We are not able to do it. And we know that one day she'll get married. But even when she nears, I can't tell her. She'll just go and find herself in that cocoon. She'll know what to do.
Actually, I think I'm different because me, I usually talk to them. I usually talk to them because I usually tell them, first of all, I'm happy because of Kanyaris. What I said about getting married to a Rava and a Fred. Because I usually tell them, if you're married to a Rava, just a Rava, the Rav can finish. But when you're married to a Fred you take care of you. A Fred you always be asking you, where are you? The person you always be taking care of you, because he's afraid or she's afraid. But about now, what you said about if you sleep with a man, when they got the menses, I told them point blank, you sleep with not sleeping, you have sex with a man, then you become pregnant. Now you are a big girl. You become pregnant, and now you become a mother, and you are still in school. So you have to take care of yourself. Don't give your breast to a man to hold when you are still in school. You feel so good, and then what happens?
Get lost.
You get lost, and you are lost. So I think, to me, I talk to them. I talk to my girls. I'm just waiting to see if you can give information, but what are they doing with the information? What is it for? Will they gain from the information you are giving them? I want to see.
I remember when they were at the stage of that teenagers going down. What I did, I realized this generation, they have no responsibility because you have a maid in the house, so they tend up nagging you. So number one, I let the house girl go. So we are left on our own. Number two, I told them use common sense. If you're in the house, food should be ready. Doesn't matter whether you just come from school, but you have to make food. Now, I won't tell you what to make. But when we come in the evening, and I find that they've made rice or spaghetti, yeah, they like that. You enjoy that. I'll cook again something else. And they'll ask me, why are you cooking something else? I told them, because I can't give this to my husband. I'll not say your father. I will not say your father. I can't give this to my husband. He's worked the whole day. He's tired. He needs a decent meal. Now, this food which you're making when you're first holding your phone like that, doesn't matter how palatable it is. I don't like somebody making food when they're looking on phone. So it was more on the job training from the time they went to high school and colleges. It is more on the job training. Why do I value this man? From the time they were in that age now, from that perspective, when they're in the kitchen, we'll start discussing these issues. They'll ask me, don't you think you're spoiling Dad? I told him it's not spoiling. It is responsibility, and this is his joy. Then I'm able to get what I want, because you people just want ready-made things, somebody with a car, somebody with a house. No. And then you go take your mood swings there. From that time, they're going through all those puberty mood swings and all that. You also bring up that thing. And I learned that concept from India. That's how Indian women live with their daughters. When they're cooking, that's when they're also talking to them. That's why there's some food I will not, like even when they steam the flask which has been there the whole day. Tell them, no, I'm not going to give that to him. That one, fresh. Me, I'm making fresh tea. But it is not waste. The man is bringing bread and butter in the house. You are not going to give him this. And out of that, in the course of it, now they have learned. In fact, when they see him, they know we are not supposed to give him, we'll give him something else. And that is where the conversation is derived from, and it works.
Thank you.
So for me, my journey was interesting. I was in primary school, and I started my period when I was 9. So we had just done PE. It's a day I'll never forget, because I was never prepared to understand what my periods are. So it was a boarding school, and 3 of us girls were in the same school, but I was in primary, and then the sister before me was between primary and secondary, and my older sister was in secondary. And the eldest sister that took care of me, she was already married, so she was living away. And so we had just played games, and then I was sitting on the field, and I noticed I'm bleeding. So I start crying. And then the other girl sitting next to me is like, why are you crying? That's not a big deal. It's just called periods. So I think because I broke down, I told the teacher, please call my sister. So my sister had to be removed from class to now come and explain, don't worry, this is a phase that now every girl goes through. It's called periods. Just come and I'll show you the way forward. So this was now happening in that school. And then now from there, I got to understand. So it was nice being in a boarding school with my sister, so that now whenever I had questions, I would then ask and she would take me through this journey. But then again, also being a last born and being so vocal, I I never knew that sometimes I was not being politically correct with my language, because there's a time I went to my eldest brother and I'm like, hi John, I've just started my period. And I think his wife must have been like, oh my God. Like, what is she saying? And till today we still laugh with my sister-in-law because she's like, you know, Rebs, you're a bit crazy. Like, do you remember the day you just walked into the house? And so for me, in my mind, I'm like, why is it is it
nothing wrong?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. But it's now that as I was growing up that I realized there are some things you don't tell a brother, there are some things you only tell your sister, and vice versa. There are some things you tell your dad and maybe not tell your mom. So yeah, so that took me time. And then I think because I'm an emotional person, and then now during those moments you are more moody. So I think I used to battle, but I just had to figure it out by myself and also with my family members, and then also with my friends. So yeah, and then I can also say that several friends from different cultures have also inspired me when it comes to this journey of womanhood and going through all of this, and also matters of sex, because I think different cultures also approach it differently. And Kikuyus are not open. I've gone for so many wedding functions where you are just told, so first of all, there were times when I would be ostracized, that I'm not even allowed to be in that meeting because I'm not married. But the ones where I was allowed to be there, I would hear the ladies say, cook for your husband well, and in the kitchen and in the bedroom. And at the back of my mind, I'm wondering, why don't they go into detail? Because if it's an area that you've not ventured into, depending on whether you're a virgin or not a virgin, you don't understand. So I feel that from a cultural perspective, whether it's teaching your daughter about periods, going through puberty, and then now, like at this age of mine, I would expect an auntie to actually guide me on, okay, this is how you cook. Because in my family, the sister before me, she's a professional chef, so she would cook. So I never had to enter the kitchen to cook. But now the older I got, my mom forced me into the kitchen, so that it's not that one of, it's my sister that's the chef, because one day I will get married. So my influences of cooking are both from my mom and also from my sister, but also international, other friends from other countries, because yeah, we cannot be cooking mashakura for our husbands. So I would say that it's a journey that's been inspired from family to friends. And I think, yeah, I'm glad also I've had certain challenges in life where I've called Auntie Alice and I'm like, I can't ask my mom this. So I've called her and she's actually guided me. So that's where I say, when we're still young and single, look for certain aunties that you can just ask anything. So I even told Auntie Alice, don't think I'm crazy. Nitakuwa nikikupigia tu masimu na nikuulize maswali zote. Yeah, and she answers.
Women in our lives who've been there. Like, I have my godmother. My godmother is in Anglican church, is the one who was there when you were baptized, when you're confirmed, who stood with you. I think we got a very strong bond until today, that even before I told my grandfather first I wanted to get married, she's the one I talked to. And I think she's never discouraged me. Everything she took me, she was strict to her children, but for me, she was very liberal to me. She's worked with me. When I was getting my children, she's worked with me. And up till today, she works with me. Her children, we are age mates. And she's been very instrumental and so much advice. So it has been so lovely with her. And there is no barrier of, like she's a parent. To me, she's more of a friend. Another person who was with me was my grandmother. I grew up with my grandmother in the same compound. I never had aunties, actually. It was my grandmother. And this journey of from childhood to when you settle down, she's been here. And my grandmother was Kali. She was a very tough woman. But she'll call you and you sit down and have a conversation. Then when you start getting your own children, of course, now you have the in-laws, the other side. And I and my mother-in-law were very close. In fact, when I was getting my firstborn, I went and delivered at her place, and I was with her for 1 month. She was training me how to look after a baby, and I'm telling you, I enjoyed. You're being told don't give the child water. She's telling you who doesn't take water. She taught me the other side. Who said this child should not be? I'm in hospital, I'm being told this. This other side, she's telling me this. I decided to take her side because if she's raised all these children, she must be knowing. And I walked the journey with her, with my firstborn. And even labor, she took me to the labor room. She did everything for me. It was a lovely journey. Then when it came to the second one, I delivered her in Nairobi. She came all the way with matatu with my father-in-law. From the time I delivered immediately, it was a cesarean. And she was there with me throughout. This child was premature. And she stayed with me for the next 2 weeks, teaching me how to look after now this one now who's premature. She walked with me. When I was getting the third child, my father-in-law had already passed on. So she was alone. And imagine she came by matatu from Nakuru. And she came, and when I saw her, the first thing is, you're supposed to be at home. I'm supposed to look for you. Mother-in-law has come. She told me, no. You must go to the hospital, get that baby. I'll take care of your children. And she took care of my children. The next day when I was going to the theater, she had prepared my children. They've gone to school, and she was there with me. And when she held that the last born is a boy, she said, God, you've brought my husband back. And she was with me, teaching me everything. My mother-in-law has been so instrumental in bringing up the children, in having events. She's never failed any. My sister-in-law also, whenever I used to have school events, she was here. Actually, those two have been very instrumental in my life. And whenever I had a question, I would call her, or we'll travel all the way. My husband would tell me, this one, I don't know. Let's go home and ask mom. And 100%, even who the children are today, she's my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law. Unfortunately, they've gone to be home with the Lord. But today, we still have memories. And even my children, used to go there, say, Shosho is my roommate. She took over now, even bringing up my children, working with them. It was a lovely journey. I enjoyed every bit of motherhood. And I have never regretted. I only wish I got many. But
me, the women that have made me the way I am, or they've inspired me. My parents, my mother and my grandma, they inspired me to be the way I am today. And when I got married, I found my sister-in-law, but she's passed on now. She's the one who taught me a lot about getting married, staying in a big family, and the love you show to everyone. She really inspired me. And then now my sister-in-laws also took over my Wairus, and my sister-in-laws also took over. And I was looking forward to being with them, and also to doing what they are guiding me to do, and I really appreciate them. Yes.
I also appreciate my mother-in-law, because when I gave birth to my firstborn daughter, I was taken to my rural home to stay with her, of which I couldn't see why my husband was taking me to the rural home place. There's no electricity, there's no water, and I've left a house self-contained with water and with everything. So my worry was, why is he taking me to his? But later I appreciated that he needed me to board with his mother, of which it happened, and he could stay there for 3.5 months. Then I come back to Nairobi, but after a lot of struggle, but the board grew, and I'm happy about it. Also, my friends, the Chama people, the Chama women, of whereby we meet and share challenges of bringing up girls and bring up our children, and especially now my girls, that this self-disclosure that maybe someone passed through the same issue, and this is what I did as a mother, and I went through it, and it succeeded. So self-disclosure has helped me to know that I'm not the only one who is having the challenges of bringing up these two girls, but kumbe wengine walipitia and they succeeded. And I am always happy when I'm with other women. And why I wanted to say why the marriage is not working is because I'm a psychological counselor, and before these two people, the man and the woman, come together, I think we, as mothers, we have the responsibilities of looking for a psychological counselor and maybe a spiritual counselor, but usiwachie the priest or the pastor alone. Pastor hata penya ndani, he wouldn't talk some issues of which every person should know the responsibility of how after marriage, what will I be doing as a wife, as a husband? What are my responsibilities? I think I've done it to some couples, and I've seen it working. So me, I advocate that before any of these girls go to marriage, let them have that psychological counseling. And so me, I've gotten inspiration from my friends. Some of them are older than me. They have big girls, and after you get some challenges, you share with them and ask them, "Kai, kunaendanga hivi?" And then they'll tell you that's normal. They'll tell you it will end. And also my sisters, I share with them some of the challenges, and we come. They talk to me, and we come to a certain end whereby I'm able to move on and to bring up my children on. So that's how my life of bringing up girls and inspiration I've gotten from friends, women, and also the church, the women from the church, because we share the same faith, whereby we go together and share some experiences, and that is.
So for me, my influences have been very interesting because both my grandmothers from my mom's side and my dad's side, they passed on, but I had other grandmothers so that have also impacted me. And then also my mother herself, she's a very strong woman, and she's inspired me as an individual, as my mother, as a wife, as a woman who was married to a politician implicated in the 1982 coup, and she was told, when I come out of jail, just figure it out, sell what you can sell, and we're moving from Eldoret and going to Nairobi. So, I've missed another historical part. My mom was also, she fed the Mau Mau. So this is a woman who has lived so many decades that you've seen so many challenges, from colonialism to independence to the 1982 coup, and then now also moving as a businesswoman, and just being a mother and a grandmother and a great-grandmother. So my mother has been an amazing inspiration in all those different capacities, and also friends and women in the church. And especially right now at the juncture I'm in, it's all of my mother's influences, my friends, but mostly the church, because I'm also at a point where, being 43, being single and trying to figure the way out, I don't want to lose my purpose when it comes to God's destiny for my life. So right now, all those influences have helped me, but right now it's the women in the church and my friends. And yeah, and my friends, especially open-minded friends that have walked this journey with me. My nieces themselves have also been influences, because there's one that's already made me a grandmother, so I also learn a lot from her. Yeah.
Approaching issues such as sexuality and all those, I think during our parents' time it was hard, and during our time it was hard, because unless you learn in biology, we had no clue. As you hear, like even having menses, we came to know there were such things when we were in high school. We had no clue, or late primary school. But nowadays, even a kid who's learning how to walk will even tell you all about it. So I think at this juncture where we are, it's a matter of time. We know that it is there, but these are the dangers of, if you've reached at that stage, these are the dangers. And they'll still tell you, so what's wrong with getting a baby? We have to sit down and reason with them, and not just in a hurry, like our parents will talk to you in a language which is, we couldn't question, but in a very bad way. But nowadays, when you're not in a hurry, you sit down, and especially they love baking. So when they are baking, okay, you encourage the baking because it's all our taught always. But as the opportunity, you sit down, they're teaching you how to bake, but you're also talking to them about it. These are the dangers. I remember when our daughter went to campus, and it was good. She was going to campus, and you're trying to tell her, when you go there, there's going to be boys, and then, the alcohol part. And the next thing she asked me, so you're only scared of somebody drinking? Do you know there was things than drinking? So I looked at her, like what? The drugs, they said, okay, there is bangi, they said, she told me, no, there are worse things. And now her being a medic, she even knew more than I knew. So it's a matter of encouraging discussions. You're learning, and seriously, you're learning from them. And now you tell her now, and in fact, if you're able to go out in some of these rehabs and all that, and in fact, we plan to take them there, they'll even take you, to that one is not even bad, let me take you to another one. Yeah. So we people at a crossroads, our generation right now at a crossroads, because we are coming from naivety to wale wajuaji sana, wanajua sana. So we have to do the learning, but it is not easy. But when you encourage that conversation and openness, now you'll start seeing your point. Yeah.
Thank you. But there is also the issue of relationship and sexuality. One day my daughter told me that, Mom, when talking to someone in the university, don't tell that person that they do not do sex. Tell that person, if you have to do it, protect yourself. Because there's a lot of it at the university. There is substance and drug abuse at the university. And so she told me, Mom, wanaambia mtoto usifanye sex, tell that child, if you have to do it, protect yourself. And so there's lesbianism. We talk about it in the family with my daughters, and you talk of the effects of lesbianism, masturbation, and all those. That if you do this, what is the satisfaction when you have a girl and you are a girl as you are not afraid, as you are lover. So where are you going? What's the end result of this? And we talk about it because lesbianism is there. Though there are those who we are told they are because of hormones, I don't know what. But you talk to your girl and tell, and then you listen to them. The issue is, as a parent, as a mother, listening. Because as one boy said, you run out from these girls. They know a lot of things that we don't know. And like us before, our mothers, my mother, I don't know whether it was there lesbianism ama ilinipita, to me sikuisikia, but you couldn't sit with your mother and you talk about sexuality.
Oh no.
About relationship. But for me, I talk with my girls and you show them how important it is. Because if God wanted Adam to have another Adam, he couldn't have created Eve. So in the spiritual perspective, if God wanted Adam to have another man, could he have created Eve? No. So I talk with my girls, and I think we are going somewhere.
With my daughter, she's in hospitality, and right now she's in the US. So I went there, and the first thing when I went to her room, I saw a man. I'm like, guy, what are you doing with this? No, he's my roommate. I'm like, roommate?
Okay.
And yes, even in Qatar we were staying like this. We shared the sitting and the kitchen, but bedroom each has their own. They share the two people in different rooms. So me, I was shocked. And then she told me, no, we are used to this. This is how you stay. Because you're grown up, everyone has their own disease, their own mind and their disease. That it's you now to choose how you want to live it. And she was so open, and she was like, no, this is how it happens. And you know, him is your roommate.
A roommate.
Nothing more.
Housemate.
Yeah, housemate. So you get to the kitchen, you cook your thing, then he comes, he cooks, you eat, he goes, you go. I'm like, okay, this is the one people are living in. And you know the fear of, guy, wanakaa room moja. How? So, as you've said, they know a lot of things, and they are very knowledgeable. Ile sisi, we are seeing as if it is a threat. And when they are open like that, they'll tell you. They are so open, they'll tell you, no, me, I can't do that. You talk to them, you tell them this is not the right thing to do. Me, I know. Hata huyu alikuwa anafanya hivyo. Kwani what was her what was she thinking? You know. And I think even that conversation of being open to them, and even them being open to you, you will know, and I will know with my daughter, whatever she's thinking, because she's talkative.
Yeah.
So she tells me, and I know, anafikiria hivi. But you see, there are others who are quiet. You'll never know what they are thinking. And then you find them doing other things. So her, she's open, and even me, she knows I'm open. I'll tell her, and then that's the way we communicate. Yeah. And it's very lovely. When you communicate, she opens, you open to her, then you're able to know what she's thinking about. Yeah.
And also the issue of drinking alcohol and other substances, and maybe you don't have security to go home. You end up sometimes being raped as a girl, and maybe you're exposed to your body. You know, when they're going for outings to have fun, they wear. So you talk to them also about decent dressing, having decent clothes, wearing decently. That even a man, you won't get a man because you are exposing your thighs and everything. So there's that man who is yours. Maybe he doesn't like seeing you exposing yourself, because every man is seeing your body. And so I talk to them about wearing decently, though maybe they'll hear with this ear and it goes out to their, because of what I said earlier about the peer pressure. Maybe they are talking in the Instagram and saying, today we are going for happy and we are wearing like this. So who are you to tell them to wear well? They wear this dera when they are going outside your gate. But as they go out there, they have their tubo cards and everything, and every other dressing of their kind. But in my house, you wouldn't go out wearing that katubo card.
No.
I would tear it.
Now you teach them that also a man will have control over you. If he takes you out, he pays your bills. If he has your body, he has total control over you. Just like when Tama was raped, what happened? The man didn't want to see her again. So when you go in the spiritual perspective, biblical, they get it faster. But also, we teach them not to be afraid of them, because I'm still with your father here.
Yeah.
So we teach them to to wait upon the Lord. And when you say waiting upon the Lord, you know, like we mamas say, you don't know what that means. But I was able to sit down with them and tell them that voice I had. We don't listen to God talking. God can talk to you in the real sense, in the spiritual, in any way. Learn to listen to God, and God will never take you wrong. Because I heard God talking. I didn't know, but I felt it in my spirit. It was Him. And so many other things you do in the house, tell them, let's wait. We don't know. Up to when are you going to wait? Tell them, no, God is going to talk, and you're going to hear it. Just learn to hear the word, the voice of God.
Listen.
Yeah.
And also being empowered with having your own money as a girl. So we talk about having your own money as a girl. This man will respect you. And also, those with young to girls, me always tell them to talk about virginity. Nowadays, it's not funny. It's not something they tell us, Mommy, you say you are virgin, people will laugh at you. And then it's like, I tell the young mothers, and I hope they are listening, those who are here, that there is this word gold, G-O-L-D, giving old life dignity. Giving old life dignity is like you did it with so many men, 50 of them. You are now maybe 65, 60, and then you are like, God, it was me. And then inakusubua. So you get married to a man and you are maybe a virgin. That man will respect you forever because he knows nobody touched that food of his. So every time he'll be respecting you. Yeah. So let's talk about let's talk to the girls, the small girls, and those two young girls, and those who have not messed up. That is this word, G-O-L-D, giving old life dignity. Yeah. Then you'll be happy forever. Your man will respect you.
Yeah.
You'll be holding your card and taking you for outings. Go, girl.
So for me, sexuality in my family, we were not very open talking about issues of sexuality. Though with one sister, I would open up quite a lot. And I'll divert a little bit to still answer the same question. So my first love was music, and I wanted to go study music. And my father felt, my child, you're not serious. You need to go and study something where you will be able to make a career. So, and he told me to consider something else, not to put music aside, but to consider something else. So, and he was never comfortable with me going to America because I wanted to go study music in America. So fast forward, he passed away, and I still decided I'll honor his words. And I found myself in the Netherlands. So it took me a while to adjust in the Netherlands, eating bread and cheese, cycling everywhere. But I think the shocking thing was not even the fact that prostitution is legal. It was the combination of prostitution being legal, weed being legal, where you could walk into a place, a coffee shop. So now for those of us that like coffee, we had to be told, if you are looking for coffee, you don't walk into a coffee shop, walk into a cafe. So I felt when my sister took me there, because I was introduced by my sister who worked in The Hague, she was very precise. No drugs, stay focused on your studies. So I stayed focused on my studies. Though in my third year, I was curious, and I did try this bangi, and it just made me sleep. So I say this because curiosity as a young person will make you try things, and then you'll continue on that journey until it takes you to your death. So I'm open about this because I tried it. It's not my thing. Though having psoriasis, I advocate for medical marijuana, but Africa will take a while before we understand how to get to that level of not smoking weed for medicinal purposes and not focusing yourself on this lifestyle. So I'll just tell the youth, for me, I'm into natural remedies. So I enter my kitchen and I'll say, okay, I need to reduce inflammation. I'll combine my turmeric and my black pepper. But where I was going with this was a Cameroonian friend invited me to Amsterdam, and she's like, actually, there's a parade for the lesbian, gay community. And she's like, let's go see. Because for quite a number of us Africans, this was
Taboo.
it's a taboo, ni kama video, ni kama drama. So for us, we just went to witness this. So as Kenyans, we like witnessing. So I went to witness. And we found it very interesting because there's even they're even protected by their police force. And from a human rights perspective, it's important, yes, to protect them as humans. So we went and we observed this, and then we also noticed that there were sex stores. So we also walked into the sex stores to actually look at these sex toys and wonder and ask the ladies in the shop, so what do you do with these? Because for us it was a completely different lifestyle. So we were educated, we laughed, and they were wondering, why are you laughing? And we're like, because we come from Africa and there are no shops that sell sex toys. Today, that's a completely different story. You can't find them. But where I've diverted with this long story is to show that for me, Holland opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I cannot be judgmental because that world has now found us here in Africa and here in Nairobi. So we shouldn't pretend as if it's not there. It's there. But for me, when it comes to sexuality, my friends have basically been my influences, and especially friends from India and from West Africa, where they don't shy away from the topic, but they do know how to address it within boundaries of respect and also roles, where you need to know your roles of who you are in this modern day as a woman and as a hardworking woman, a woman that earns her own money, and a woman who also knows when you end up in your home, these are my roles and my responsibilities, and you understand feminism, but you also understand feminism within the boundaries of tradition and culture. But for us also as Christians, not taking Proverbs 31 and allowing it to be put on us as if Christianity and this woman of noble character was a doormat. Because my mother was never a doormat. My father never raised, my father was, even conversations, my room was next to theirs. I would never hear them shouting at each other. I've never watched them raise, there's never been verbal abuse in my home. There's never been physical abuse in my home with my parents. So in as much as we're speaking about issues of sexuality, my friends have guided me, and also women in the church, they know how to start raising women today, so that when they're telling you go and read Proverbs 31, they're telling you empower yourself, build a profitable trade like the woman of noble character, have money to be able to buy your own shamba like the woman of noble character. She was a beautiful woman, but the fact that she loved the Lord and she feared the Lord, that's what made her stand out. It was her character and her integrity. So in as much as none of us are perfect and we all have scars and wounds from the past, we can still embrace these scars and wounds, and God can take them and create something beautiful out of it. But on the side of sexuality, I would say my family, only one person in my family stood with me, and I feel that we need to actually start, for my wedding, I will call aunties that are open to talk about issues of sexuality. So 2 of them are sitting here. I don't know if they'll be shy, and when I get my daughters, I'll speak to them about it so that they are aware. Yeah.
I go for Zumba, I dance, I go for aerobics, I do the dancing. It is so good because even the kind of food you eat makes you lighter. Now, my daughter was a sweet tooth. Despite all this cooking, she'll still buy the chocolate.
It's still there. So maybe my son will eat, but the girls, They come and they don't sleep early. They'll come. Before that, I was throwing away the Indomie.